Hey everybody, welcome to My Path to a Higher Self. I want to give you a little rundown on exactly why I started this channel and what I'm hoping to uncover here. But first I'd like to actually tell you a little bit about myself. Now, my name is Kevin. I come from a small town in upstate New York. I moved down here to South Florida about 10 years ago. And for most of my life, things went great. I had a wonderful childhood with two loving parents, three older brothers, and we had a very close, tight-knit family. Now, towards the end of my high school years, I started to spiral down with my stage of depression. I wasn't as popular as I wanted to be, and there was a lot of teasing and bullying that went on, and that actually led to me teasing and bullying other people, which just led to a spiral downhill. Now, I had gotten to a point where some of the friends I was friends with for most of my life had, I want to say, abandoned me in my high school years, and that led me to trying to find people who wanted to be my friend. Now, instead of trying to find people who wanted to be my friend for me being me, I started seeking out people and started changing who I was and what I was doing in order to be friends with them. So I would see a group of people, and whether they were doing something I wanted to do or not, I would start doing that myself in order to try and fit in with the crowd. And this is what led me to really drifting away from who I was as a person and starting to succumb to a lot of peer pressure, and not even battling with the peer pressure, but instantly succumbing to it. So that's what led me to start with cocaine shortly after I graduated high school and went to college. That led me into the DJing phase, where I thought I wanted to be the next big DJ and producer, but all along it was really just me getting into the party drugs like your ecstasy and acid, and just trying to avoid sobriety at any point in time. Now, I moved down to Florida back in 2009, so about 10 years ago. And when I moved down here, I started to really escalate not just the party drugs, but this is where I really started getting into a lot of the depressants, pain pills, muscle relaxers, anything I could really get my hands on, again, to avoid sobriety. And unfortunately for me, I was already in a depressive state when I was sober, so adding these depressants in really led me down a spiral. And it was to a point where on a day-to-day basis, I really had to spend every single minute justifying why I should even be alive. I kept going through the thought cycles in my head of, my parents, my brothers, everyone around me would just be better if I was gone. I'm miserable, I'm depressed, and it led me to a point where on multiple occasions I did try and take my own life. I tried to purposely OD on a few drugs. That didn't work. By the good grace of God, He saved me each and every time, and He told me, "My son, this is not your time." So it all really climaxed shortly after my best friend at the time and we had a long falling out. He moved away. I moved in with my brother. And I was still in that very depressive state. I was still taking a lot of muscle relaxers and pain pills, and I was smoking a pack a day and eating a lot of junk food. So everything you could possibly imagine, that was really leading me to be in this severe depressive state. But I started to make some small changes along the way. It would be slowly cleaning up the diet, slowly changing some of the people that I hung around with. And then eventually my oldest brother turned me on to Pastor Miles McPherson of the Rock Church out in San Diego. And I started listening to a few of his online services. And it was great for me because although I grew up in a traditional household, we were never very religious. We stopped going to church when I was in middle school. Sundays were football days, so that was more important to us at the time. And I was always in a very traditional church where you go in, the pastor has a very monotone voice, says his service, you say hello to some people, and then you go home for the day. And here was this guy, this pastor, who was an ex-NFL player, who had a drug problem, started with cocaine, just like I did, and something instantly connected with me. And the more I listened to him, the more I started to believe that, I can do something myself as well. I can become a little bit better myself. So I started making some small changes along the way. I still had many issues. I was able to quit the drugs, which was a big first step for me. But I was still smoking a pack a day. I was still drinking a decent amount. And I had a lot of emotional issues, a lot of anger issues that would be pent up frustration that I would release in a ball of frustration with an argument with a loved one or a friend or a coworker or whatever it may be. So again, I started to make some small changes just to try and figure out some things. Well, one thing led to another. I started slowly cleaning up my diet. I started slowly quitting smoking cigarettes. I eventually was able to kick the habit of smoking cigarettes, starting to eat a little bit healthier, but I still really felt like I was empty. And I had this feeling deep inside of me that because of all the sins that I had committed, because of all the bad I did in the past, all the pain that I caused my family and my friends, that I wasn't destined to do anything good. I was just destined to coast by life in a very average state or even below average state to really make up for all the pain that I caused before. And I was to a point where I had accepted this. I said, you know what, nothing great's ever going to happen to me. You know, good things aren't going to come my way. I just need to accept that and move on. So around this time, I started getting into working out. You know, I was I don't want to say a natural athlete, but I always picked up sports pretty naturally when I was in school, and I never really worked out that much. It was just a natural thing to me. You know, picking up and throwing a ball was natural to me. You know, when I started golf, just swinging a club, I was a little bit more of a natural than normal. Tennis, same thing. Swimming, same thing. So I said, you know what, let me at least get into some exercise, see if I start to feel a little bit better. And shortly after I started working out, I started noticing that a lot of my free time, I was looking at YouTube videos and reading articles on different types of workouts, you know, proper form. And I started thinking to myself, well, geez, maybe this isn't just something for me to be healthy. Maybe I've uncovered something with doing this physical activity. And I drew a lot of inspiration from my cousin who had a bit of some issues that she had to deal with as well. And she became a personal trainer with the National Academy of Sports Medicine. So I said, you know what? Maybe there is something more here. So I studied more. I started working out a lot more, doing varying exercises. You know, when I first started, I did what a lot of people did. You know, I went to the gym and did your bench press, your curls, maybe a bit of jogging and biking, and called it a day. And then as I expanded that, I started noticing that I was feeling better, I was looking better, and that led to me studying more. And back in April of 2019, I was able to graduate with my certification for personal training with the National Academy of Sports Medicine. And I thought, you know what? This is it. I think I found my true passion in life. And I did find my passion. And at this point, I thought it was my purpose, was to share fitness with the world. So I said, you know what? This is great. I started a podcast, which I still run right now, called the Purpose Through Fitness Podcast, in which I try to encourage people to live a happier and healthier lifestyle. And that's still going right now. I have a website, purposethroughfitness.com. But I noticed that something still seemed to be missing. You know, as I was studying fitness more, I was getting a lot of influence from some big fitness names, and people like David Goggins was somebody who really awoken me to something else other than the physical. Now, if you don't know David Goggins' story, you need to go check out some videos of him right now. Absolutely incredible story. Probably had one of the most painful childhoods you could possibly imagine and has turned it into something incredible. And after reading his story, it had me curious on what else may be out there. And not just from a physical standpoint, I'm talking an emotional, a mental, a spiritual, just an all-around standpoint. What kind of potential do we have? And this has led me to a lot of different names in the field. My influences I draw from Gary Vee, Jordan Peterson, David Goggins, Jesse Itzler, Lewis Howes, Steve Weatherford, Ed Milet, Tom Bilyeu, Wim Hof. A lot of these different names who are in different facets of business or physical activity, mental activity, spiritual activity, and it really sparked something in me. And I said, you know what? It's not just the physical aspect that I'm really in love with. I've fallen in love with human potential. I've fallen in love with that person who can go from a lowest of lows and not only change their life around, but really embark on something that uncovers some true hidden potential inside. It's led me to Mark Devine, who's an ex-Navy SEAL commander. He is now my current mentor, and I'm training in the Unbeatable Mind Academy to be a coach. And it's really helped me understand that the human potential is something deep inside of us that we all have the possibility to uncover. So that brings me back to the reason why I'm starting this channel. It's called, again, My Path to a Higher Self. I want to document my journey from where I'm at currently to where I'm going to go 1 year, 2 years, 10 years down the road. I really want to document as much as I possibly can things that have helped me through self-education, through increasing my potential, again, physically, mentally, emotionally, intuitively, spiritually, all of these different facets. I really want to uncover how much further I can push my limits as an individual and what I might be able to share with you to help unlock that hidden potential inside as well. My hopes with this channel is that we start to interview some people who have unlocked some certain gifts that don't seem humanly possible, and we just share some knowledge between us. I want this to be an interactive page, so people who are listening to this, people who are watching this, I want you to share with me some successes that you have had, some things that you have tried, and we're really just going to share back and forth exactly what we can do to unlock that hidden potential. I really truly believe that God instilled deep inside of us this unique power of being deep inside the core of our soul that can allow us to do so many things. It's just like the little poster I have above here, with God all things are possible, and I truly believe this. You know, I was full of doubts before. I was full of resentment. I would look at somebody and that maybe achieved a physical goal, and I said the only reason they did that is they have some kind of genetic mutation or they're just special. And now I have a complete open mind with these things, and I think, you know what, if I see something and something somebody did, I believe it's something I can do as well. So I'm really excited to share this with you, and I'm hoping that you get something from this as well, and we can share in this journey that I'm on and allow each and every one of us to unlock some hidden potential inside. So I'm excited to be sharing this with you. If you've lasted this long in this intro video, I truly love you, and I'm super blessed that you would take the time to even listen to this right now. And I can't wait to get started on my journey, share with what I've learned at this point, and continue to learn and grow each and every day. As my mentor Mark Devine says, it's self-empowerment to the service of others. So you always want to add more value to yourself, and the more value you add to yourself, the more value you can add to society. And that's my goal in life, to not only unlock my hidden potential and push myself beyond the limits I thought possible, but to also help others along the way. So again, I am super happy and blessed that you are here. I love each and every one of you at the bottom of my heart. I truly do. And I'm excited to see what hidden potentials we can unlock within you as well. Many blessings to you all, and we'll see you soon.